There are many sources of depersonalization and derealization. For future reference, it's best to be aware of the many other sources, other triggers of depersonalization besides negative thinking, and be sure and eliminate them as well in order to assure long-term prevention. Let's begin with the number one source of depersonalization, and that is clearly anxiety and stress. You know, you can experience anxiety without having depersonalization, but you cannot experience depersonalization without first having some form of anxiety in your life. This is a solid basic fact. Therefore, it's best to identify the stress in your life and resolve it, or learn how to cope with it as soon as possible. Anxiety is also a learned behavior, and the way to eliminate it from your life is through a simple process. One must learn to understand that anxiety is a signal that you are not taking care of yourself, eating poorly, sleeping less, and pushing yourself too hard. It stems from and reflects your relationships, workplace, and your perspective on life. It's all about attitude as well and self-esteem. Anxiety will diminish and eventually dissolve if and when you begin to take care of yourself in both mind and body. You basically have to learn how to switch off stressful behaviors and replace them with productive ones. You need to excavate your authentic self and speak from the heart. The truth will always keep repressed emotions at bay. Learn how to be direct when you speak with others, and you will build self-confidence and become a stronger person. You will also gain respect. If your stress grows out of control and anxiety symptoms develop, it is essential to step in and turn them off immediately. This is accomplished by doing the following. First of all, you have to identify the symptom and don't try to push it away. Instead, surrender to the symptom and allow it to spend itself without trying to hold it back. By doing so, it will fizzle. Without your fear of it and fearful thoughts, it loses its power very quickly. Your fear is what fuels any anxiety reaction. Give up the fear and you remove the catalyst. Remember, depersonalization grows out of unresolved anxiety. The more anxiety you have, the more worry and constant thought you have. This is what leads to a fatigued mind, which in turn opens up the door to depersonalization. When you clean up your anxiety and stress, you are preventing the symptoms of depersonalization from slipping in. Another source of depersonalization is unresolved issues and pressures. Locate them and work them out as soon as possible. If there is anger in your life, deal with it and move on. Don't let it fester. Don't allow it to linger. It tires the mind, and we all know how an exhausted mind lends itself to feelings of depersonalization and derealization. If you have an issue with someone, call them up and work it out. It is so worth it. Hiding from problems just prolongs them, and prolonged problems just lead to stress, anxiety, fatigue, and a tired mind, and that can often lead to feelings of depersonalization. Let's face it, we will always have to deal with stressful people and stressful situations in our lives, but we do have a choice. If someone is very stressful, then we learn how to cope with them effectively. Learn how to be assertive, or try to be with those people in your life that I call your power people. Those are the people who make you feel better about yourself when you're with them, who bring out the best in you when you're in their company. These are the people you want to be around. The more you're with these people, the more you crowd out the effects of being with difficult people. If you spend enough time with people who make you feel strong, you actually shrink the chatter that reverberates in your mind from having to deal with the difficult people in your life. This is why some people remain in a job that they love but have a difficult boss. If they're able to go home and relate to more power people in their lives who bring out the best in them, they're able to relax and counter the side effects from the difficult person at work. You know, when you're with your power people, you feel strong, happy, and fulfilled. You feel good about yourself. You need to spend more time with these people. Stress-induced adrenal fatigue is yet another source or trigger of depersonalization. The mind becomes less and less resilient when one is constantly thinking, worrying, under stress or pressure. We normally take breaks even when worried, but occasionally we all find ourselves in situations that are not only stressful, but also continuous. Anyone who has ever been in a foxhole while serving time in the Army can attest to this. That is why so many were faced with a type of adrenal fatigue and emotional anxiety during the war. Interesting enough, the ones who learned how to turn off the worried mind were the ones who recovered faster, much faster, in fact, than the ones who were put to bed. Here's how it worked. The ones sent to bed for rest had little to do all day but think. When you're worried and given the time to think, you give your worries a constant audience with your undivided attention. This only fuels them on, perpetuates them, and prolongs fatigue. The second group with the battle fatigue were sent out working in the field all day long. They were with others, they were kept busy, and they recovered much faster than the other group. Their minds were no longer focused on their worries and immediately shifted into lighter thinking for longer periods of time. Allow me to let you in on a little secret. They were also listening. Keyword listening. When we are with others and listening to what they have to say, we are drawn out of introspection and back into the world again. We don't have time to get lost in our mind, in our thoughts, in our worries. This is why learning to listen is so important in recovery. This may sound very simple to you, but it's actually not. Anyone who's ever been caught up in this cycle of worry knows that it's very hard to stop thinking about themselves and listen to someone else. It is a habit that needs to be broken and replaced by a more productive behavior. Listening is that behavior. Taking off from work, lying in bed, and thinking about yourself is not going to get you there. Getting back in life, working, being with other people, hearing what they have to say, and listening to them will do the trick. This is what heals the overtaxed mind and allows it to rejuvenate much faster. The mind begins taking in information, receiving more information, and thinking less about the worries in life. The chain of fearful thinking is broken. So get out of bed, get off the sofa, get back to work, get back into life again. Start interacting with people and listen to them. Use all the techniques you are learning in this program, and you will be amazed how quickly you get back into life again. A mind focused on occupation and interests will heal much faster. This has been proven time and again. It is called occupational therapy, and it works. Naturally, sleep is important, and worry inhibits sleep. I guarantee that your sleep habits will improve once you eliminate worry from your life. By following the examples of mind clearing and thought separating, you will be able to control your thoughts and allow your mind to slip into a restful sleep. If you happen to awaken during the night or too early in the morning, practice turning off the thoughts the way I suggested, and you will enjoy a good night's rest. An overactive mind will no longer get in your way or burden you with unnecessary negative thinking. Remember to allow the bed to hold you rather than you holding the bed. This works for chairs during the day as well. Loosen up your posture and allow yourself to sink in. Watch a cat the next time you notice it asleep on the floor. It's as loose as a pile of rags. This is because it's never learned the behavior of worry. Sleep will refresh a tired mind, but if you're going to awaken and go back into negative thought again, you will defeat your purpose. A refreshed mind cannot be thinking negative thoughts all day long. The rest you achieve from sleep is not only diminished, but added to. Catch yourself in negative thoughts and continue doing so until it becomes second nature to think correctly once again. A mind free of worry is less apt to fall into depersonalization. It is well worth the effort to practice these behavioral techniques. Every time we worry, think too deeply, and stress, we lower levels of serotonin in the brain. This, as you remember, is the feel-good chemical. This will be discussed in detail, but just understand that it is important to do things in moderation so serotonin levels remain balanced, and one is less likely to experience the symptoms of depersonalization. A mind less stressed is a mind that is healthier and less prone to fall into depersonalization symptoms. You know, it's very easy to become very caught up in our work, in staying indoors, and being in front of our computers all day. It's a great way to glean information and to keep occupied. The only trouble is that one is often forced indoors too much and not subject to too much recreation or activity in our lives. Being indoors for long periods of time, staring at the computer, and not getting enough fresh air can lead to decreased levels of serotonin as well, and this makes for a mind that can easily fall into boredom and introspection. This is why one must strive for more recreational therapy, as I call it. When you awaken in the morning, it's important to eat a nutritious breakfast, get dressed, and get outside. Breathe in the air and turn off the mind. Leave an overactive mind in the house. Remember when we were children and we went outdoors to play? This was the most healthful way of living. This was giving the mind a true rest and allowing the body its fresh air, sunlight, and healthful activity. One found games that were fun and friends that made him laugh, and the hours sped by without our noticing. This is truly the way to free the mind, unlock the tension, and repair any symptoms of depersonalization and derealization. This is the way to heal. Every moment one is outdoors and not immersed in worried thoughts and behaviors, their mind is renewing itself and restoring. It's revitalizing, and the results are quite invigorating. Any signs of depression over this condition also lift. Try this for merely 4 days in a row, and you will be amazed at the results. Depersonalization relies on your worry to exist. You carry your comfort zone wherever you go. You will heal by eliminating all these sources which feed into depersonalization. And you can do this while you work, while you socialize, while you live your life with your family, and while you are part of life. You do not have to take medications because you're not ill. You do not have to separate yourself from your loved ones and heal in a quiet place. This is not necessary because you're not ill. You do not have to take a vacation or a long cruise alone to find yourself because you are not ill. Face the facts. This is a learned behavior and nothing more, and it grows out of a tired mind from too much stress and worry. When you reverse this behavior, you begin to feel like your old self again. It's logic, it makes sense, and it's solid fact. All you have to do is follow these suggestions and your mind will refresh. Your mind is ready, willing, and able, and all you have to do is give it a chance by stepping out of your own way. It's time to take away the fuel, which is the worry. Make it your one goal to eliminate as much stress as you possibly can. Take a close look at your life and resolve as many problems as you're able to. Anything put on the back burner is going to have to be addressed later on, so why not just get it over with? Take a risk and face your emotions. Don't allow anger and fear to run you. It's time you began steering your life and becoming the in-charge person who chooses how you're going to feel, rather than allowing repressed emotions manifest into feelings of anxiety, depersonalization, derealization, or depression. Give up the full-time analytical thinking, which all too often adds to feelings of burnout. Allow yourself to be less than perfect. Instead, pride yourself on being human, and life becomes a lot easier. The world will still go on if you're not perfect, and even if you allow yourself to make a mistake. You don't have to be the number one people pleaser on earth either. It may be time to nurture yourself. Take a time out. Everyone needs a break every so often, not just children. Take a nap. It can revive a tired mind and body, and it's all about just letting go. Regroup when life becomes stressful or even boring. You know that boredom can also be a catalyst for introspection and intense thought. Find things that interest you, things you haven't done before. You're never too old to find something new and exciting to pique your interest. Learn something new every day, and if you have the inclination, take classes at your local college. You may wind up with that degree you never thought you would ever achieve when you were younger. Most of all, lighten up on yourself. You deserve it. When was the last time you remember doing that? When was the last time you really laughed with your friends? When was the last time you really let go? It might be worth a try. Life is not over. There's always more to come. Follow our plan and you will find the depersonalization melts away. It doesn't take a lot of effort either. In fact, it's more about letting go. Take a step back and allow your body to heal without your interference. You've been trying too hard and too long to figure this out. Now it's time to let your mind and body achieve this. Give it its space and watch how it naturally occurs when you guide yourself back into a far less stressful lifestyle. Remember, all this worry just adds up to a more tired, fatigued, exhausted mind that keeps the depersonalization going. I will repeat, depersonalization is not an illness. You are not sick. This is a behavior that grew out of the habit of introspection, of deep thought, and intense worry. Your fears kept it fueled with little chance of resting your mind. What occurred was logical, normal in the circumstance, but now you know how to remove the source of the fears, the source of the stress, and the source of the pressures. As soon as you do so, you will notice a lessening of symptoms, a refreshing of the mind. The body will also refresh as you notice more available energy and strength. Your adrenal glands alone will repair as you place less of a load on them by eliminating the constant what-if thinking. Every spurt of adrenaline decreases the reserves. How could you not feel the symptoms of mild stress-related adrenal fatigue? Another logical progression. Many who hear these explanations feel so good that they experience an immediate lessening of symptoms. Others need a little time to process the information. Trust that it will work for them. Even if you don't trust yourself, just trust the process. It will bring relief. I know because I've been there, as have so many others. Allow yourself to let it happen, and you will prove it to yourself. The way you feel is proof alone. Peace, calm, and well-being are readily available. Take the risk and move toward the correct way of thinking from here on in. And have a wonderful day.